Hey guys, Trent at Black Horse Ranch here. We got a comment from Ken Jorgensen, and he was asking about a little more detail on how we did our gates on our high tensile fence. So I was just going to do a quick video and kind of go over some of the parts that we used and how we did our gates. So I've got this gate here, which is a little bit different than most of our gates as far as how it's wired, but as far as how all the hardware and all that kind of stuff, it's pretty much the same. So I'll give you a little bit of detail here. So the reason this one's a little bit different is because this is the gate closest to our charger, and so we have 4 different wires that go underground here. The bottom one is the hot wire for the bottom strand on the other side. The middle one is for the middle, and the top one is for the top. And then we have this third wire right here, which is the ground. So quite a ways down in the lower part of our field, one of these strands is the ground wire, so it's electrically continuous all the way down there. I also have ground rods up here closer to the charger that we put in. So hardware. So you can see basically what we did. We have this insulated cable here. I don't know if you can see the white insulation with the black around it. I'm trying to get it to focus on that bolt there. Just wants to see the dirt in the background. But we have insulated wires. They're buried 12 inches deep, and they go under the gate and then up to the next post over there. And so that's the same on every gate. On most other gates though, we have the top strand and the middle strand are connected together, and then only one wire goes down underground. And this one, again, the top wire carries the power for the bottom field. So if we have the top field shut off, that very top wire is always energized, and it provides electricity down to the bottom field. So it's isolated until the gate down at the bottom field. But all the electrical connections, we use these split bolts, and you can see them here. So I think I've gotten like 4 wires in there. They tell you how many wires they're supposed to be able to handle. So that's where all the electrical connections are made. The gates, these are just considered utility gates, so they're not meant for stock. And you know, the only reason we can use them for stock is because we have the electrical wire on the gates. So basically what I did here between each of the hot wires is I ran this short wire, and it's crimped onto the hot wire of the gate, and then it's in the split bolt there, and that wire is long enough to open the gate either direction. So that'll wrap around the post if we open it in, or it'll bend if we open it out. And that's just a regular piece of high tensile fence wire with some of the insulation tube on it. And so far, I mean, all of this stuff that I've got here is available at kencove.com, and that's where we got all of it, except our gates we got locally here. Okay, so we got the split bolts, we got the crimped wires, and then that's the same on the other end. So that's the hinge side of the gate, and these are just, you know, the lag bolt hinges, so you know, they're not meant to hold up to a lot of stress. But again, you know, if we can keep the cows off of them, that's kind of the goal here. Then if we come over to this side, so nothing over here except the latch on the gate, and all those wires come up from underground to continue the electrical current. So let's go inside the gate here, and I'll show you what I've got hardware wise inside the gate. Okay, so inside the gate we've got these post insulators, and they're just these type. I'm going to try to be careful here. I'll show you on the bottom because the bottom's turned off, but they just have this pin Well, actually, I'm not going to pull that out because it's pretty tight. And you'll notice I don't have the insulator perpendicular to the gate, and that's because if I open the gate to the inside, if that insulator's coming straight off the gate, it'll actually break. It'll hit the post. So I've bent those in. Now, if you make sure your hot wire is between your two steel rails on your fence, then you don't have to worry about your wire hitting on the metal of the fence. So you can see on the inside, the hinge corner, I've got these rotated in a little bit, and so I've got 3 hot wires, and I've got them all in between. So putting that hot wire in between those two keeps out, riffraff, helps prevent like foxes and dogs and stuff from coming through that bottom part. And our gates are pretty low to the ground. And then the middle one there is just at nose height for the cows. And then the top one is just to miss that top bar, but it keeps the cows off. And then I just have insulation tube. So the top 2 wires are one strand, and then just this insulation tube that runs parallel to the fence post upright. And then on the middle, again, these ones come straight off, but again, you don't have to worry about the section in between the insulators because it's not going to hit, and the high tensile wire doesn't sag. And these offset or insulators, post insulators, are available at Kin Cove. That's where I got them. And then the screws, I had to order. I think I got them off Amazon, but they're self-tapping metal screws. They kind of look like sheetrock screws. And then this is the end of the gate that opens. It has the chain, and you notice that these ones are coming off 90 degrees. So it's only the hinge side ones that I have rotated. And if we come back to the back side here, I'll show you. So the screws, if you've never seen a self-tapping screw, they have that. Try to get this camera to focus on the screws there. Okay, there we go. So we have those self-tapping screws, so you don't have to drill holes in the gate. Now, I don't know if those would work very good on a heavier gate, because I mean, in my experience, the self-tapping screws tend to break off if you try to drill through thick metal with them, because they have to also create their own threads once they drill through the metal. So that's it. That's how we've got our gates set up. So we've got the wires buried to keep the fence continuously electrified, and then we've got the hot wire on the fence. And 3 is probably the minimum you want to do on the fence, because you want to make sure the cows, if you leave one of those out, the cows are going to find a spot to rub on them, and these gates, they won't hold up to that. They're pretty weak, so you get a bull rubbing on there and they're going to bend, or that chain is going to break or something. So alright, well, hopefully that answered all the questions, and hopefully that's a helpful video. Thanks for watching.